Hi there, welcome to BizMix TV show. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks for joining us. What we're going to do is share with you the business strategies that are successful with our panel of experts. Anywhere from website design to social media, to marketing, to finance, to law. So right now, we're going to introduce you to our panel.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Taylor, and welcome to BizMix. BizMix is the show where you get to learn from our experience, so that hopefully you won't make any of the mistakes that we've made gaining our experience. So today we're going to talk about a topic that is really near and dear to everybody's hearts, and that is getting new customers or clients or prospects, depending on how you want to look at it. Some people call it prospects, leads, customers. Generally, what I like to think of it as activity generates leads, which generates clients. Laura,
yes.
Why don't we start off with you? Why don't you talk to us, because you're in the social media area. Why don't you discuss with us about getting new clients and your philosophy?
In my philosophy, getting new clients through social media is one of the best ways to do it, because here you can have the whole globe at your fingertips. You can engage with them, you can get to know them, you can do market studies, all sorts of wonderful things that can help you make those first steps into the business world. So what I recommend people do is actually troll a little bit on social media first before you actually start marketing your business out on social media
Kind
and
of get
engaging.
to see what's out there already.
See what's out there, see who your competitors are, learn what your audience is looking for. That's what I recommend doing.
Rod, you're more grassroots marketing kind of a guy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, from a social media standpoint, I agree with what Laura said, is that I like to go out there and check my competition out. I like to see what their footprint looks like, so that I can actually go out there and maybe do things that they're not doing.
Right.
Kind of, it's amazing what you can learn from actually going to someone's social media site, not just visiting their website, but really go and see what they're talking about behind the scenes. And to me, a lot of people will just kind of roll their gameplay out there for you. So that's one thing that I've always done.
Yeah, what is that? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, that kind of thing. That
Absolutely.
happens a lot in the marketing world.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's right. Well, Reese, putting on your marketing hat for a second, you're the lawyer of the bunch, but when you think about getting new clients, you and a financial planner and you probably win with the most restrictions on how you can advertise and get clients. Talk to us a little bit about what's different between getting clients in a normal brick and mortar business and you having to do it as an attorney.
Well, the difference would be the restrictions on the different type of advertising. When an attorney advertises, obviously we have restrictions from the Florida Bar on how we can advertise and what information is included in our advertisements. One example would be if we put a billboard up and we advertise, there are certain things that have to be on that billboard, including our name and what type of law that we practice and things like that. We can't advertise, what cases we've won, what cases we've lost, and things like that. However, we can give them information on, how good we feel that we are. However, it's certain particulars that you have to keep out of the advertisement world.
When somebody sees an ad for an attorney like that and they call the attorney up, can an attorney disclose what for example, their win percentage is, or their rate, how well they've done in court, things like that?
They can disclose how well they've done in court, and they can give, if they've kept a good tally on the percentages of per se trials they've had or hearings they had that are actually successful, they can do that. However, the regular brick and mortar companies may be able to make guarantees as to this or that. Well, an attorney
can't do that, yeah.
Cannot make a guarantee on what the outcome of a case is.
You can just give your best estimate.
Exactly.
So Reese's got this little picture of her setting up there, and then the rest of the whole billboard is the disclaimer.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know,
It's the fine print.
and I'm trying to
It's the fine
drive it,
print.
you know, 50 miles an
right.
hour down Highway 19 trying to read it.
That's right.
And then I have a wreck, and then guess what? I need to call Reese.
That's why.
'Cause I need help.
When you think about marketing, there's different reasons you market. You market for a call to action. You market to just get exposure. Or you market to like draw people in. I would imagine an attorney is more marketing for exposure than it is to
Definitely.
actually draw people in. Whereas you know, if you've got a shopping center or something like that, you're doing a call to action to draw people in. You know, versus maybe online, you actually want the call to action where somebody pushes the buy button.
You want people to engage with you online for sure. I mean, you want to get that conversation going from a social media standpoint, from a web design standpoint. That's what you want that call to action to be.
Actually, that's a perfect segue. I was going to ask Rusty to talk about when you're designing websites and infrastructure. And infrastructure, just so the audience understands, when we talk about infrastructure, that's the back office basically of what's going on. When you were talking about that, how do you approach things differently from when you're dealing with somebody like Reese to you're dealing with like a store?
Well, we build a lot of lawyers'
And
websites.
by the way, Rusty's doing his best Kermit the Frog impression today. So.
I've lost my voice. When we build for lawyers and for financial advisors and stuff like that, we have the strictest guidelines that we have to go by, and almost every single one we've ever done has had to go before review before they can allow us to launch. When we look at the traditional brick and mortar business and the online businesses, their websites are built. We have to understand what their customer demographics are, for one thing, but the call to actions have to be very, very clear on what we want them to do. So it's almost like dumbing it down to say, hey, we want you to buy, click here, or hey, we want you to get more information from us, click here, and grab that data from them that we need to pursue them on a long-term relationship. To me, landing pages need to be very precise on the message, and they need to get to the point. If what we call above the fold, which we all know what that means, but for you guys at home, above the fold is anything that can be seen on the screen without having to scroll up or down.
So when you first come to a website,
Exactly.
that first page you see, that's
without having to scroll up or down, that's where your call to action needs to fall. Your phone number needs to be there, who you are, and what you're wanting your message to be about, so that it drives them down or drives them to the next pages or drives them to your email list or to your video, whatever it is that you have them or your expectation of them as your customer, or to grow that relationship. With lawyers and stuff like that, it's more or less getting them to a form to ask for more information.
to express interest, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a data collection versus a call to action for a sale.
And never put the word guarantee anywhere on the
Anywhere,
lawyer's
yeah.
site.
Right. You can't do that.
That is
Well, you know,
against the Florida rules.
One of the things that we're talking about here, we're all talking about the marketing plans and how we would do things. I've always found it interesting that whenever I've been in meetings with advertisers and things like that, we always talk about marketing as an investment versus an expense. And a lot of small businesses, you know, when we all think about it, when you're out there in the audience and you're thinking about the advertisement you pay for in the paper or the internet ad that you pay for, or the pay per click, everybody thinks about it as a cost. You know, it's a cost of doing business. Really, to me, it's more of an investment, because an investment in a financial world, what's an investment? An investment is you take money, you put it somewhere, and you hope that money generates more money than you put in. That's an investment. Well, that's almost exactly what marketing is. So, Rod, can you comment?
Well, I think one of the big things that's changed is, and people that know me, I always talk about screens, whether it's a laptop or a notepad or a mobile device. These screens are the most valuable piece of real estate out there when it comes to actually advertising your business. And years ago, I mean, we had a large marketing firm in downtown St. Louis, and the only way that we could get you on one of those screens is you to sign a major contract with a TV network or a cable company, and that's a large investment. In today's marketplace, the great thing for small business owners, for the people that are watching us today, if you own a business, one of the great things is that that playing field has been kind of leveled out.
Right.
And there's all these different avenues, whether it be social media, whether it be video, whether it be websites, that we can actually market our business with very little cost at all. So when you start looking at that, I always have thought that it's an investment in my business.
Right.
When I do
I totally agree.
advertising, but now that ability to be able to use this free investment and to learn how to use all of these different tools that are acceptable to you, I think one of the difficult things is, and I know Laura's the expert on that, but it's kind of like, where do I go? It's like,
Right.
every time I turn around, we call it a new shiny object. There's something new for me to use, and so we're trying to play in all of the different little fields instead of finding one or two and really focusing on that and getting good at it, and then saying, oh, by the way, now I'm going to kind of come over here. And I think that's the challenge.
Yep.
It's kind of like if you're out networking, it's, how much networking can I do, and
That's right.
what kind of return on my investment am I getting, because my time is my investment.
That's very true, because you'll find a lot of people, they spend all their time trying to do that, and they can't figure out why they don't have any sales, because they spent all their time doing what was fun and not what they necessarily needed
And
to
they
do.
forget to ask for the sale.
That's right.
So
But I think, Rod, you touched on something really important. You don't want to dilute yourself when you're marketing on social media. And the biggest thing you could do is figure out who your audience is first. Figure out who that one person is first that you're going after, then select the social media platform to play on. If you don't do that, then you're wasting
very
your
true.
time. You're really
You know,
wasting
Laura,
your time.
I got a question for you, and this was not rehearsed or anything, but I try to tell people that, like, let's just take Facebook.
Okay.
To me, Facebook is like this massive search engine, if you would, because I go to Facebook and I tell people, how old I am and where I went to school and where I grew up at, and, am I male or am I female, and all of this information, my zip code where I grew up at, and then we think about investing all of these time and energy and pay-per-click into Google and Bing and those different things, and we don't give them any information.
Right.
But I see Facebook as being able to go in and tell me if I'm right, that I can actually target people that I want to do by saying, I only want to go in these two particular zip codes. I'm looking for a female between 25 and 45 years old. Maybe they're a stay-at-home mom. Whatever it is, to me, it's like Facebook is this great search engine for me to advertise my business, kind of wrapped in this social
Yeah, absolutely.
media type of deal. Do you agree with that? Or?
Absolutely, because you can drill down to their interests and what they want to do and what they're interested in, what they talk about, what they look at for pictures and things like that. It is a wealth of information. And
There's a lot of information out there about
yeah.
people
The
they
thing
don't
about
realize.
it is anything that, a small business owner that's getting started, they got to understand, you don't just go into marketing blind. Like we were
Right.
talking last week about the shotgun approach. You got to have a plan. You got to have something that's measurable. And then you got to put the things in place to measure that, to make sure that it's profitable. And if you're not doing that, it's not going to
missing
work
it.
for you. You're not going to know
You mean
where you're
I
spending the good
can't
money.
throw darts at the
No.
dartboard anymore?
No,
No,
don't do that.
see what
Man.
sticks.
You
Only
can
if
stop. That works.
Yeah.
That
But the
works.
thing that I think people don't pay enough attention to on Facebook is their analytics program that is there behind the scenes. You can
And that's
tell
huge
all
for
that
free.
stuff for free, and where you have to pay for it with some other
right.
with some other online services. And it's just a wealth of information. It can tell you how long somebody's been on your post, if they shared it, if they liked it, if they commented on it. So much information. You know what's going viral in your business just by those analytics behind the scenes. And that's called the insights. If you're on Facebook, click on that tab and look around. It's the insights area. Don't be afraid of it. It's
So
just
that's almost a
information.
way for you to get free market research by
Huge.
using social media.
Absolutely. They graph it out for you. It's wonderful.
There's
Absolutely.
companies out there that charge a lot of money
They
for
do.
that type of market
And there's
research.
companies that will take that information and then analyze it and give you advice on what the next steps you should take. What I always caution people is don't try and be an expert in everything, because then you become an expert in nothing.
Yeah, you need someone like Laura that's going to handle your social media. You need someone like us doing your website and design. So, that's why before we ever build a website, I always try to push someone to understand you need a blueprint. You need to know what the foundation is going to be for your marketing plan, so that not only do I know what I need to do, but Laura knows what she needs to do. And then we can work together and we can bring that synergy in between the two projects and really get that ROI up for
Right.
every dollar they're spending.
I mean, I
so
anal
got
about
to.
it, where I
Yeah.
sit there and I tell my clients, let's sit down and look at an editorial calendar together. What's your seasonality of your business? What happens in November versus May? And let's figure that out, and then we'll create content and topics around that and make it usable information. And I think that's something else that people miss on social media, is creating this usable, actionable information that they can input into their business today. And that's huge. If you're not doing that, then you're
That's right,
missing it
because you
again.
end up doing things, you don't implement it.
And,
Right.
and you're not doing these calendars a week, 2 weeks out.
No.
Like, especially for holidays, you could have this stuff
Mm-hmm.
3-4 months in advance that you're planning for. You should always be planning. When it comes to marketing, my belief is 3 to 4 months ahead of time, you should already know what's going to happen in this month with your marketing. If not, you're
It's
shooting
all
yourself
about
in the
planning.
foot.
Well, I mean, all of your major corporations, they do that. I mean, if you sit down with Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, they're a year ahead. They're buying things today that I'm going to sell a year in advance, because a lot of those products are having to be manufactured, come from
That's right.
China. They're on that, we've all heard of that slow boat from China. Well, that really does
Yeah,
exist.
shipping is a big deal.
And so they're actually planning their year a year in advance. And I think for small business owners, sometimes, we want to think that, well, we can only plan a day in advance or a week in advance, and then we don't understand why we ran out of inventory or we didn't have specific inventory ready. Now, Laura, I do have a question for you. I hear of all these different management tools that are out there, like Hootsuite, where you can actually, maybe set down 1 or 2 days a month and actually plan out your whole social media calendar, and that thing will automatically do that. Because I think a lot of the viewers that are watching today that are small business owners, they're like, okay, I do have a business to run. I do want to run this social media thing, but as business rolls along and something comes up and I got to do this and I forgot about that, and today, we had a couple of disasters. And so what do you think about those types of softwares that manage those for you?
I think they're fabulous. It goes, excuse me, back to planning. So you've got to know what your game plan is first. And I'll tell you right now, as we're sitting here, hands-free, I'm tweeting right now because I have things on autopilot right now. I couldn't be here today, making an impact on the community and in the internet at large as we broadcast, if I didn't have some planning things in place. And that goes for your blog too. I mean, you need to really plan ahead. It's not just social media. Blogging is a part of social media, but you can write. You can set aside a couple of days a month for writing and go ahead and do that.
Well, I think we're coming up on our first break now. The little voice in my ear is telling me, although I can't hear it really well. But anyway, so let's talk about that. When we come back from the break, we've talked about a lot of different things. Let's talk about some specific things that people can do in their business that can affect their business right away. So.
Great.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back, everybody. In this segment, we're going to talk about some things that you can do to specifically help your business, things you can do right away. But before we do that, we're going to go into a little segment we call What's New. We're going to have Laura tell us a little bit what's new in the marketplace.
There is this really cool app that's out there called Periscope, and I don't know if you guys have seen it or
Love
heard
Periscope.
of it. Periscope is
It's addicting.
amazing.
Is that like a submarine
kind
type
of
of
sort
thing?
of, but you can see the whole world with it.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's all driven from your cell phone, which I was forced to take off set. But what it is, which I'm really upset about, I'm going into shakes. What it is it's actually your phone live streaming to anywhere in the world. You can talk to people in Canada, in Australia,
Russia.
wherever,
You can be
Russia,
anywhere.
You can be anywhere, and it's free. It is free. So this is an amazing tool for your business. What you can do is talk about new product launches, tutorials, trainings, anything, book launches you want to talk about. You can actually do something like this right here if you wanted to. It's an interview segment.
It makes everybody a TV studio.
So
Yeah, it really
how
does.
does people know that I'm doing that, though? How do I get an audience?
It's connected through Twitter. Well, there's two ways to connect, but the main way and the way that you really want to connect is through Twitter, because it'll tweet out every time you're ready to broadcast or that you are broadcasting. And then you can invite people to follow and watch your broadcast at the same time. It's a powerful tool. You can talk about absolutely anything, and you can engage with your audience. And the way you do that is kind of like we're doing right now. I'm talking directly to you. However, if I had Periscope in front of me, I would be getting texts back from my audience. They would
And
be
hearts.
asking
And lots of hearts.
which is Periscope's way of showing applause is by tapping the screen
tap
for
the
hearts.
screen and all the hearts
all
come
the
up.
hearts come up, and it's really exciting, and it's a great way to get in touch with your customers. You could do behind the scene things in your business. You could introduce different people from your business to your audience. So if you had the director of marketing, you wanted to make that person highly visible in your business,
Yep.
bring them on with you and you guys start talking about it. Or if you had, product development people there, bring them on so they can tell you what's coming new.
It's
I
very-
will say this is the longest I've ever seen you without a cell phone in your hand.
I'm shaking.
I know.
And look at her.
Shaking.
Watch her hands.
I'm itchy.
She still has the grip
I do.
when she's talking like the cell phone is in
I
there.
can't help it.
So
So
one
Laura,
cool-
how do we
keeping-
get to the periscoping when if somebody's new to that, they go on their phone, what do they do to get to where you go to
They go
Periscope?
to their app store, whatever their app store, if it's Google Play or the app store with Apple, and just download the app, and it's free.
It's very
and
easy.
It's very
Very
easy,
easy.
very user friendly.
So it's like my
plug and play.
own miniature handheld video
Camera.
streaming device.
Go live. Be careful what you put out there because it
Exactly.
goes live
It
to the
goes
whole world right
everywhere.
away. So, but in keeping with that technology, what we were talking about before about telling people specific things that they can use in their business today. Give me some examples of how somebody could use Periscope in their business.
I think, like I said, a behind the scenes expose of what's going on in their business, how their business ticks, is a good way to do it, because that's what you want to do. Is you really want to engage with your customers and your audience. Another thing would be a product launch. My gosh, if you had a new product or service
That's a good
that was
idea.
coming out, and you would just sit there in front of them and show them all the bells and whistles on this new product or service, it would be incredible.
Does it like record it though,
They can.
or
Good question.
do I have to be on Twitter to actually see that Periscope when it comes through?
It's recorded for 24 hours. However, there is this nifty other little site called Catch, KATCH.me, and it records, Catch Me, yeah,
Catch Me.
but it's catch.me. So it records your broadcast, and then you can use it anywhere. You can use it on YouTube, you can use it on your website.
very cool.
You could send it to people. It's
Very
an
cool.
amazing tool, invaluable.
The one cool thing that I've seen used with it is an auto dealer. They were actually using it. They were going around telling about cars, and they were getting people
Exactly.
to come to the lot for special promotional deals while they were broadcasting. And you would see people pull into the lot.
And
so
that's
that
a
was pretty
perfect
cool.
segue into what we want to talk about for this time period of about giving people some specific details right now of what they can do to increase their business. So, Rod, for example, what's one tip you could give somebody right now to increase their business?
So you come to me first. Well, I
put you on
think
the spot.
every business is different, Dave. And I think a person has to look at their business, and I think that one of the things that we look at, I mean, we're getting ready to head into Christmas time right now, okay? So I'm seeing all of these different reports out there online, reports even in the news where we're talking about what percentage of people have already gone out and did their Christmas shopping.
Right.
So I think you need to look at your business and think about it. It's not necessarily that I've got a product that someone could actually buy for a Christmas present, But heading into the Christmas seasons, you know, people do more decorating in their homes now than any other time of the year. They do more getting their carpets clean, getting their tile clean.
Right.
So I think you have to look, as Laura had said earlier, plan ahead, but then to look at the season and think, how can people use my product or my services heading into this? And then you got to get that word out there.
Right.
And whether you're using social media or, you know, I mean, all of us here are participating in local networking groups.
Right.
Just getting the message out. I mean, that's the biggest thing. In any type of business that you do, you've got to tell people what you want from them, and you've got to tell them what type of services or products that you sell. Because if you don't tell them, your competition is.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
Reese, give us an idea of like what in the legal field, what do you do to, what's a tip you could give other people in the professional field like you are on how to get customers?
Well, I think one of the people's main concern is what you do, finances. Everybody is always intact with their finances. So I think one important factor is making sure that whatever you do in your business, that you're affordable, and try to be, you know, even more affordable than others around you, because it will definitely drive the business to you.
I think there's one thing that small businesses can do that we've really not talked about, is that's in their offerings. That's with the couponing and not the thing about whenever you're doing like the couponing and stuff like that is that you can use social media for that. You can do the old standby newspaper. You can do mail outs, the the mailer form and everything like that. For a small business just getting started, getting out there, going door to door, talking to people with a flyer that has a promotional piece on it, saying, you know, buy one get one free, or, you know, like the carpet cleaning guy, hey, you got a free room, you know, on us if you will do the rest of your house.
I think, and I think, and to sum it up, basically, because we're coming up to another break, is that really you've got to have a plan. You've got to sit down, you've got to have a plan, no matter what business you're in. You've got to start off with how much do I want to spend, what kind of revenue do I want to attract for that spend or that investment. And then from that point, you want to see, you know, what's the next steps? Do I use social media? Do I use feet on the street? Do I use, you know, what do I use? Do I use billboards like you described before? Do I go to a traditional brick and mortar marketing agency and have them go out and do it for me? I think the small business owner's biggest quandrum when he first starts is, how do I get myself out there? How do I get my first customers in the door? So I believe we're coming up to our next break. The little voice in my ear got a little bit quiet, so I'm guessing here. But we'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about more information about how you can get more clients in your business.
Beltran Dental Surgery is dedicated to providing the highest quality dental surgery.
I graduated from USF, went to Harvard Dental School, obtained a medical degree from Texas, and completed 5 years of oral surgery training. At Beltran Dental Surgery, we offer cutting-edge surgical techniques and treatments to the Tampa Bay area. Providing IV sedation allows my patients to have a pain-free and comfortable surgical experience.
From wisdom teeth removal to implants or creating a whole new smile. Call now or visit our website to learn more about our procedures.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to start this segment off with Did You Know? It's a little concept that we have about ideas you may not have thought of before or advice that we can give you. And I'm going to take the first one, and Did You Know? One of the most interesting things to me is that the IRS has some rules about hobbies versus businesses. And what happens basically is if your business doesn't make a profit within a certain period of time, the IRS has the ability to deem it a hobby. And that's really bad because that means it's gone on for a few years. The IRS can now go back, I think it's up to 3 years now. I think it's something 3 years. They go back 3 years and then they look at that and they say all those deductions that you had are now hobbies. So you lose all the deductions, and now you start really getting into tax time. You get to hire an attorney, you get to hire an accountant, and it gets to be really nasty. So my best advice to you is you've got to show a profit. You're not in this for nothing. Don't make the mistake of taking so many deductions that you never show a profit, because that's a big problem. So
are there some areas of types of businesses that are really look at that maybe more than others, like home-based businesses, multi-level marketing?
Absolutely. Actually, no matter whether it's multi-level marketing or it's just it's a hairstylist in their own home, it's the home-based businesses attract a disproportionate view from the IRS and from other agencies. Because you sit there and you take every single deduction, it totally offsets your income, and you pay no taxes. Well, keep in mind, the goal of the IRS is not to say, oh, great, you did a good job, you don't have to pay any taxes. It's to collect money. So you've got to show them that you're making a profit. You do not want to be deemed a hobby. So that's a...
So we're not scaring everybody off. No, let's also keep in mind there's businesses that will show a loss for 5 years, 6 years.
That's
7
very
years.
true.
And that's because of the way they built their plan out, because they're developing their product.
That's right, especially like in the software industry, where you're going to be developing something over the next 3 to 5 years. But you see, that is perfectly explainable. It's part of a business plan. So you may still get called in, and they may still want to ask you questions, but you have a very defensible argument saying, this was my plan all along. They're really going to cut you a lot of slack in that kind of a thing.
You just don't want to be the business that says, I'm in my 15th year.
That's right.
And I still haven't made business, and I can't figure out why I keep doing the same thing.
That's exactly right.
And amazing, I'm getting the same results.
That's exactly right. The IRS is going to say, well, let's see, you're going out to dinner, you have a new car, you have a house that's almost paid off, and you're paying on the mortgage. The money's coming from somewhere.
I don't think they ever did make a plan, sorry, but I don't think they ever had a plan on making money. I think it was more about trying to utilize the system, if you
That's
will.
right, and that's where they deem it a hobby, and that's where the fun starts.
That's where the fun starts. I don't know that that's fun.
I think if you keep your business on the up and up, and you hire the professional bookkeeper, the tax accountant, you won't have anything to worry, because they're not going to put their license on the line to do anything that's going to get you in trouble.
I totally agree. Well, let's talk a little bit now about how to keep customers, how to keep clients. One of the most difficult fields to keep clients in, I think, is the legal field. Because if you think about it, an attorney can have good or bad outcomes not because of his or her performance, simply because of the facts surrounding a case. So, Reese, could you talk about that a little?
You're definitely right, Dave. That does come into play when you're in court and you have certain situations where, you know, a client is not happy because you did not get the result that they wanted. However, it was the result that was correct by statute and things like that. But I think your rapport with your client is really what keeps the client coming back to you, that relationship that you've built, that trust that you've built. And when you just, you know, advise your clients that you're going to do what you can for them, but you still have to, you know, you have to abide by the laws of our state.
Right.
Regardless of what. I think they have a certain level of respect for you, and you keep them coming back anyway, even though they know they didn't get that last, you know, situation that they had in court resolved the way that they wanted to or desired to. They know that you're working hard for them, and they know that you're going to do the right thing in their favor.
And actually, you said something there. One word I think is really important, and I'd like to throw that out to you guys to comment on: relationship. I think that's the single key word in any kind of, once you've got your clients and you've got your customers, how do you keep them coming back, and how do you keep them from going someplace else?
That's all the sales is relationship building. That's all you're doing when you're doing when you're a business owner and you're the salesperson. you have to be about building those relationships. You have to ask for the sale, but you have to build that relationship. Get that person to feel comfortable with you. Build that reputation with them so that they will want to do return business with you. And as we all know sitting up here, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to keep a customer than it is to go out and prospect new customers. So,
You know, I think one of the things that we're all guilty of is connectivity. If we've got a product, let's say I'm a heating and air conditioning person, and I just put a new air conditioning unit in your house, Dave. Right. Well, more than likely, you're not going to need me again for 10 to 15 years, except for the maintenance on it. Right. So if you're a business that has those types of products, I would encourage you to stay in contact with your customer, even though you know that they don't need you right now. Because again, the more that you stay in contact with them, the more likely they are to give a referral to you to someone that pops up and Reese says, you know what, you can't believe this. You know, my air conditioning just went out, and Dave's like, oh, by the way, you need to use this. I haven't, you know, if you haven't talked to me in 3 or 4 years, then I may not be top of mind to you.
And
that's exactly why Laura comes into play.
Because I'm jumping out of my seat right now, because I just want to say.
I thought she was reaching. I thought she was reaching for her cell phone again.
I was.
Somebody get her the phone.
I need the phone. But that's when you need to stay engaged with your customer on social media, and you do that by. How about why don't you showcase your customers a little bit and say, look, I went to Dave's house and, you know, let's have him talk to us about his experience with my company on social media. Keep him engaged. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is give them value. Even though he may not need your services right now, why not give him an ebook or some sort of a digital product that says 10 ways to keep your air conditioning up and running in the hottest summer months of Florida.
And
Stuff
take
like
it,
that.
Take it to the point of educating them.
Yeah.
Dave, you just put this brand new air conditioner in his house. So now let's teach him, let's educate him on how to properly maintenance it.
That's right.
Why does he want my guys to come back out in 3 to 4 months to service this unit, to clean the coils and things? Those are all upsell items, but what you're doing is you're building confidence in him, and what's going to happen is
you're building loyalty at that point, because guess what? He's getting all this free information and tools and stuff to keep his unit in proper running order. He's going to tell Reese now, you know, it's an easy referral to give because he knows everything he needs to know about your business
and then
why
his
it's important.
neighbors are going to be there, and the neighbors are going to, you know, see that your truck out there always fix it and maintenance it, and when they go, hey Dave, what's wrong with your? Oh no, they're just here, they're maintenance it, they're taking care of it. That's word of mouth, you know, and as we all know, word of mouth is the most powerful advertising tool you can have.
I think one of the most interesting things is with the advent of social media, you know a lot about your clients. You know what they. You know, we can find out a lot about our clients, and you can target things at different clients. You know, I actually find it funny. You know, we've talked about this before, that in the past, with the amount of information that's out there, everybody was so against how much information was out there, and they hated the fact that everybody knew what they were doing. But then all of a sudden, you have things like Facebook, and you have all these other things where people are voluntarily going out there and putting out way more information online. You know, it was never online before, when I'm going on vacation, where I'm going on vacation, when I got there, when I left my house, and all that kind of stuff. And now that's out there. So when you think about it from a data mining perspective, you can take your clients, data mine your clients, see what different ones have in common, and market to them different things, different upsells.
Now reverse that role and think of it like this. As much as we can go out there and we can look at our customers, now customers can come and look at us as a business. Our online reputation is the number one thing that we need to be concerned with nowadays. That's why we actually own a software piece that we sell that does that with Rep Safeguard. And what you want is you want that 4-star, that 5-star rating out there. The other cool thing is with the search engines, it's those citations, and that's what we consider Yelp and Google Plus and everything to be as a citation. Those are sites that are reviewing companies and businesses. Those rank. Those pages are easy to rank. So now, when they're looking for you or for your services on Google, here's your website, right? Here's your Facebook listing. Oh, here's a Yelp listing about you. Maybe there's an industry-specific review site or Angie's List. now you dominate the front page
Absolutely.
because of
That's
your
amazing.
reviews.
Right.
Let your customers be your biggest voice nowadays with these review sites. So as much as you're data mining them, think
They're
about
doing
it.
the same thing.
They can do the same things. We're all guilty of the restaurant,
Yeah.
the 2-star
Yeah.
restaurant. We're not
Not
going to
gonna
eat
go
at
there.
because.
But I'll say that your social media profile there is your customer service and your PR department wrapped up in one. I've said it before, I'll say it again, because that's the first face your potential customers are going to see of you. What were you going to say, Rob?
Well, no, I just agree with I agree with what Rusty said. The online reputation, we all do it now. We all expect it, and because it's so easy for us to do, it's handy for us to do it. We can be driving down the road and be kind of like, well, hey dear, where do you want to go to eat? And well, I don't care. I mean, you ever do that?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that should be
absolutely.
like the most famous restaurant in the world. I don't care bar and grill.
Right.
It's the most asked for place in the world.
That's right.
And so we're doing that, and all of a sudden we're urban spooning or whatever. And I can tell you that my wife Carol should be like, no, they only got 2 stars. We ain't going there.
Right.
Oh, that one's got 4 stars, and they're just around the
try it.
corner. Let's
Yeah.
go check them out.
People listen to social media.
And
They
you know,
listen to the
totally.
reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Rusty and
definitely.
I have this conversation all the time about SEO, and it was funny because we were talking about it, and I said, well, sometimes SEO, I'll pay for pay-per-click or whatever to get someone to my website, or I'm ranked top in Google, and I get there, and I was like, okay, I just paid for my prospect to get there, but there's 9 of my competitors on that page also.
That's right.
And so I paid to actually tell them who my competitors are.
Right.
But if I've got all of these sites like Rusty's talking about giving me that feedback, and the 5 top sites are all mine, and they all got 4 and 5-star reviews, well, guess what? My opportunity, number one, I didn't have to pay pay-per-click to get there, and number 2, I control that whole page.
That's right.
And man, that's smart marketing right there. I
What
believe in that product.
What I'm hoping for is my 5-star review and then his 2-star
2-star
review.
review, right.
Yeah, right.
That's what you always want to
It's one
see.
right after the other.
Yeah, because
That's right.
But the thing about it is, if you think about it, companies get wrapped up in pay-per-click. They get
Yeah.
wrapped up in doing the ad rolls and everything. I love ad roll, but that's secondary. When you use your reputation, it's rather cheap and it's organic. And that's the thing. Whenever you talk about SEO in the web world, you want it to be organic. You want it to stick long term. If you do pay-per-clicks, you do PBNs and stuff like that. I know I'm talking way over people's heads with that, but if you're doing stuff that can be shut off in an instant, if that's 20%, 30% of your business coming in from that, what did you just do the day that you stopped paying for it? You just killed that margins of your business.
There's one thing I want to bring up before we end up today, and that is we've been talking a lot about technology. Well, let me tell you what. If you're a business owner out there today, there's nothing more impressive than you can do to me than to handwrite that card and drop it in the mailbox and get back to that personal touch.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet world is great, but you want to do both. You don't want to lose the personal touch, that personal thank you. If you happen to know when your client's birthday, and we talk about how to keep that customer, drop a birthday card in the mail. Drop them a Christmas card in the mail. Drop them a card in because you happen to know that it's their anniversary. Let me tell you what, that's a way to keep a customer, and that's a way to build a relationship that will probably bond you with that customer forever. And again, it's going to keep you top of their mind anytime that they hear somebody else that maybe needs something that your business does, product or service that your business does.
No, I think that's all good points, and we're coming up. I think we're coming up to the end of the show today. I've kind of lost track of a little bit. We've been having so much fun. So we're coming up to a break. So anyway, but we'll continue this when we get back. One of the things I'd really like to focus on when we get back is some specific things that somebody can do. Like each one of us take a point of what somebody can do to keep a client. Okay, so I'll look at it from the financial point of view, Laura from the social media, and what can we do to specifically keep a client? Because as Rusty points out, that is one of the most important things to do in business is keep the clients. So we'll be right back.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
Providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
Coming here, you're not just like an ordinary patient. You're actually like treated like a family member, and like you're treated like he actually gets to know you and makes you smile.
Welcome to New Tampa Pediatric Dental, and we are the Bees!
Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Now we're coming to a part of the program that what we do is we actually highlight a local business, and we talk about that business. We get they've actually sat down and done an interview with our host, Barbara Marvel. So we're going to go to that right now. Let's go to our highlighted business of the week.
Hi there, welcome. I'm Barbara Marville, and with me is Ed Claymeyer, National Brand Manager, who's going to tell us about a great company called Paid to Save. Hi, Ed, welcome.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. I just need 2 minutes of your time because I'm going to show you how you can save money on the items you're already purchasing at the places you're purchasing them from. Also, for those of you that are interested, I'm going to share with you an opportunity to also bring in additional income to you and your family.
Nice. So tell us, what exactly is Paid to Save?
Paid to Save is a mobile app that people are uploading all over town, saving money, as I said, on the things they're already buying. It's amazing.
So save money, make money. That definitely gets my attention. So basically, what attracted you to Paid to Save?
Actually, a good friend of mine is a former Baptist pastor, and he knows that I truly, truly enjoy helping other people every day. And he said, you have to check this Paid to Save out. So here we are a year later, and it's been amazing.
Well, you can tell that you're very excited about it, that's for sure. So now, Ed, you've written a book, a newly released ebook called The Savings Bible. What is that ebook all about?
The ebook is 108 saving secrets that you can't live without, and that can be downloaded for free. It is free, thesavingsbiblebook.com.
Nice. So, Ed, do you have any closing comments about Paid to Save?
As I mentioned earlier, it is a free mobile app, and people are saving money all over town. And for those people that are interested in a second income or to gain additional income for their family, for themselves and their family, you need to reach out to me. I can help you. You can go to appbiz.ed@gmail.com, or you can call me at 813-318-1012.
Perfect. Thanks, Ed. And thank you for joining us. Check out Paid to Save.
Welcome back, everybody. And this is our final segment of the show. Now I'm starting to smell like Kermit. What'd you do? In our final segment of the show, we promised you that we're going to give you some tips on how to keep a customer or a client. And that's really, really important. So let's start with Reese. What do you do? What would you say the most important point is in your business to keep a client?
I think it goes back to what I was stating about building those relationships. Plus, it has a lot to do with your character, decorum, and personality. I think a lot of people like and take well to a person that has a great personality that they can talk to and feel at ease and feel comfortable with, so you keep them coming back. One thing that I have seen that I will put everybody, on point with is to think about when you have somebody like Laura that does social marketing, doing your marketing for you, there's a certain personality that comes across in that marketing when you're putting things online and things like that. You have to make sure that when somebody finds you online and then comes to you, that you're able to portray that same type of upbeat personality. They don't get, this exciting individual online and then they come into your office and you're like
hello,
like this, and you just sound like this.
That's
you don't want to do that. You want to portray that same, bubbly type of personality. So
well, Laura's so bubbly. Well, I think from my point of view, from a finance point of view, I think you can't be afraid to spend money on your client. because your client's paying you. You're earning an income off of it. Don't be greedy. Give some back. For me, I spend money on social media and things like that and research so I can give my clients tips and teach them something. Somebody one time told me that if you teach somebody something, if you tell somebody something, everybody tells them something. But if you teach them something that they needed, then they'll remember you forever. So I always try and teach people things. That's how I try and cement them to me. Laura?
Mine's kind of off the same vein. It's add value. You always want to add value. Nobody likes to be sold. They really don't. So when you're out there, especially on social media, the last thing you really want to do is advertise, advertise, advertise. People aren't there. It's not called advertise media. It's called social media for a reason. So add value, be social.
That's a very good point.
It is. And people forget it a lot.
And for me, it's about integrity. It's about being honest with your clients. You know what it costs you to do your business.
Right.
You can be the cheapest in business until the day you close your doors. I believe in making sure that the product is fair, educate them on that, and that you're honest and that they understand that they can trust you. Because if you have that relationship with them like that, they're not going to go anywhere else.
And I think you hit a very good point, that getting them to understand that cheaper is not always better is a big deal in any business, because you can always get cheap, but that old saying is you get what you pay for. I see that in my business all the time, in health insurance and life insurance and all kinds of things like that. You run into that where people just want the cheapest possible thing out there, and then 6 months later they call you back and go, well, how come it doesn't do this? Well, because you bought the Yugo, you didn't buy the Cadillac. If you want the Cadillac, you got to get the Cadillac. So what about you, Ron?
Well, Rusty stole mine. It was integrity. I think integrity is how you keep people. Integrity is how you grow your business. Do what you say you're going to do. Show up when you say you're going to show up. Even if you're going to be late for something, it just takes a second to send them a text, to call them up on the cell phone and say, hey, look, I really want to apologize. I'm running 5 minutes late. I'm running 30 minutes late. I got to a problem that's, we all can accept, like if we're waiting in the doctor's office, you ever realize that? We go into the doctor's office and we'll wait for him, but we don't jump on him when he comes in like, hey, you know what? You were supposed to be here 10 minutes ago. So I just think that, let it. But you're an attorney. You can do that. I could see her in the doctor's office.
Like you, buddy.
It's like Judge Reese.
My wife does. My wife will wait for a certain amount of time for a doctor, and then she just leaves.
But those are simple little things that you can do, and they're really important, because I want to tell my doctor sometimes my time is just as important as your time, and so just treat your customers as if you. As you want them to treat you. And I think if you do that and your integrity is always front of mind, you're going to have a customer for a long time.
I agree. And fortunately, we have a few minutes left. And let's turn the ball the other way now and talk about some of the big mistakes people make when they're trying to, with keeping clients and things like that. From my point of view, it's just, if you ignore your clients, they'll go away. Basically, so you've got to spend the money to reach out, touch them. My favorite thing is when you go in, and sometimes as a financial consultant, people will call me in and they'll say, okay, so your business has been going downhill consistently over the last few months. What have you done to, let's say, first reduce expenses? The first thing they'll tell me is I cut back on all my marketing. Okay. What is the first thing they should not do is cut back on all their marketing.
I'll tell you what my pet peeves is, and you guys know I used to be in the salvage industry, and I sold software in that industry. And I'd walk into these yards. I don't know why we're not busy. I don't know why we don't have any customers. And you're sitting there listening to the phone ring 10 times,
and nobody's answering it. That's right.
I'm like, well, that was your customer that's never going to call back again because you didn't answer the phone. You didn't give the opportunity to be able to tell them, no, I don't have this.
Everything.
Right.
They have so many problems with that, even in my field. A lot of clients have come to me just because they've been with a previous attorney who wouldn't return phone calls, who wouldn't return emails, or who it took 2 weeks to return their call or their email because and it makes them feel like they're not important.
And that's a respect thing for me.
It is, because that doesn't cost any money.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost any money to, if you are going to a client's house, to make sure that you walk in, that your feet are clean, and that you're treating their home like you would your home, and maybe in some cases for some people better than what you would in your own home. But those little things that are respectful to a client. And if you want to lose a client, do the things that we've been talking about. Don't return phone calls, and don't treat them like they're important, and they'll show you just how important they are because they'll go to your competitor.
That's right.
It's the same way on social media, though. Do you know how many times people will get negative comments or comments on social media, and then the person who owns that that social media page won't respond back to them? It's like an unanswered phone call. It's the same thing. Whether it's a good response or a bad response, you still need to take the time and the effort to respond to it.
That's
and
right.
It's one way you learn what's going on with your business.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of times we get so busy and we don't know all the details that are going on. And when your customer, if they're complaining about it, take notice of it. Call them up. Say, hey, I'm really sorry that you had a problem. How could we better serve you? And again, that's almost like your own personal research of your own thing. And you know what's funny is that depending on how many employees that you have, you'll come to find out that there's only a couple little problems inside your company.
Right.
And sometimes they all
easily
say
fixable.
You can't see the forest for the trees, and you need help. You need your customers' feedback to actually point them out. And like I said, unfortunately, sometimes you'll find out that it's one or two people in your whole company that's causing 90% of the problems.
Right. If you really want some fun, send out a survey to all of your customers and see what this. You can get survey tools are really inexpensive online.
I would suggest that you do that every time that you interact with your customer.
I love doing that. I love getting the answers to surveys.
And remember, the customer that had a bad experience with you is going to go tell more people
that
that person that hadn't. So I want to make sure I correct that.
So your focus should be on turning that around.
Yeah, turn that around.
And I was going to say that about what Laura said. A lot of individuals just get intimidated when they receive a bad review instead of thinking about how do I turn this person around so that this bad review becomes a good review.
Or you take it personal. It's like, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
or are you trying to see it from a different angle? Just take it in for what it's worth, address the problem, overcome it, and then make sure, again, if you've got employees or you've got management staff, that you share those experiences. It doesn't do you any good as a business owner to say, well, I found out what these problems are. I'm just going to keep them to myself because I don't want to talk negatively to the group. You've got to bring it up and then talk about how are we going to overcome these? Right. How are we going to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Right.
And that's such a good point, especially when you're hiring a social media manager. You want to make sure that that person has some sort of experience in customer service, that they can, come in and talk like you, and that they really understand your business too.
Yeah, I agree. Well, to sum it up, basically, I think it all comes down to relationship and the touch points to your client. We're about at the end of our show for this week. The time goes really fast. Next week, come back, see us. We're going to have a special guest I think you're all going to find very, very interesting to talk to. I know I personally am looking forward to meeting him myself because that'll be the first time I've ever met him, and I've heard a lot about him. So my name is Dave Taylor. I've been your host this week. Hope we've learned something. I have, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us for BizMix TV show. Hopefully you learned a lot from our panelists. Next week, we're also going to have a fantastic show, a very, very special guest, Mr. Bill Rasmussen. He is the founder of ESPN, so hopefully you'll be able to tune in. Until next time, have a great week. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks for joining us.